Hey guys, it's your girl Candy of Natural Hair and Mix. Today I'm going to be doing the Goddess Box Braids using Yaki Hollywood Kanekalon braiding here in the color SOM Burgundy. And for the curly pieces, I'm using Janet Collection Mambo Open Loop Deep Twist in the length 24 inches, and this is a 3X size, so it's a huge pack of hair, you guys. I only use like a quarter of this pack. And so I already begun installing the hair, so I'm just moving on to sectioning off my third row, I believe, yes. And I ensure you guys that when I'm making my parts, I do so with the utmost precision, as much as it depends on me. I try my best to, make the parts neat, because you want for your braid to appear pretty nice and neat once you separate the hair. And I also have a video that I recently posted to show you guys how I do my parting so that your braids look nice and full. So I'm gonna link that in the description box below also, so that you can watch that detailed video, so you know exactly the rhyme behind my reasoning with the parting. Alright, so now I am going to be installing. I'm just applying some Let's Jam conditioning jam or gel, and that helps to make the hair very nice and slick and neat. And I'm separating the hair into two pieces. One piece is like a quarter of the amount, the other piece is 3/4 of the amount, and I'll overlap the smaller piece over the larger piece just to make 3 pieces of hair. And then I begin braiding. And guys, for this style, that the Goddess Box Braids, or the Boho Box Braids, which it is sometimes referred to as, it involves a series of braiding and attaching curly pieces of hair. Pretty much that's it. If you're able to braid or plait, then half the work is already done. The other part of it is just to attach a piece of curly hair as you go along the braid. Alright, so having braided like 2 inches down, let me try to zoom so that you can see close up, a close up of what I'm doing. Right. Alright, so having braided about 2 inches, I am going to be attaching a small piece of the curly hair, and I do so by just laying it on top of the hair that I'm currently braiding, and just literally continue to braid. When the curly piece of hair gets to the middle or the center of the hair that I'm braiding, I just lift up a part, one section. It's obviously in two sections, 2 pieces, so I separate and section off one piece first, and just clip that away and continue braiding the braiding hair and the other piece of curly hair. And I braid it to a point, and then I clip off the other piece of curly hair. So now 2 pieces of curly hair are out of the way, and the rest of the magic lies with just continuing with your braid all the way down to the end, as you usually would. Alright, and then you release the curls and allow them to fall. And there you have it. That's pretty much how you do your goddess box braids, you guys. So let me show you again with a piece of braiding hair already sectioned off. I just start my braiding, attach the hair at the root. Make sure it is tight enough, but you don't want to make it so tight as to make the person's follicles, you know, start to scream out. You don't want that. You do not want to damage the hair follicle. You don't want to see hair bumps when you make the hair too tight. So I'm always careful to make the hair neat but not tight. So as you can see, you guys, I am adding the curly hair a little bit earlier than I would on the other one that I showed you previously, and that is how I do them. I don't do a particular precise measurement as to at what point I add the curly hair. I kind of make it random so that the hair looks more natural and, you know, it has more volume and dimension to it, you know, as a result. So feel free to add your curly pieces, you know, at random places along your braid. And the key is just clip off one part of the curl first, then continue braiding, then you clip off another part of the curl afterwards. That way you have curl cascading out of the plait at more than one point on the braid. So you have one curl cascading out of the braid towards the top, closer to the root, and then further down along the braid you have another piece of curl cascading. And sometimes I actually go ahead and add another piece closer to the end if I want more curls on some of the plaits, but it's not all of them that I actually go ahead and do that with. It's just on random, very few braids I would do that where I add more than one piece of curl. And release. Alright, so now I'm towards the front, you guys, and I'm gonna be showing you from another angle from the side. And you guys, if you notice, you will realize that each of the plait that I make, it falls exactly in between the two plaits that are in the previous row underneath it. And that is the key to make your braids look full. You want to ensure that the current braid that you're working on, that it falls smack in the middle of the two braids that are immediately below it. Adding a piece. And another thing, guys, I do not put the same amount of curl on each braid. Sometimes I put a super tiny piece of curl, another time I put, you know, a thicker piece of curl, and it gives the hair more volume in some sections depending on where it is required. And for this particular style that I did, the hair had a generous amount of curls. You can put way less if you want to. In some cases, you can even braid make some of your braids just plain straight braids with no curls on it, and, you know, leave some of them that way. That would make you have, you know, less curls and make the actual box braids more visible. That's my second piece of curl, and I'm just moving it out of the way so I can continue with my braid towards the end. And of course in the front it tends to pull a little bit more, so she is reinforcing the braid so that it doesn't tug on her scalp too much. Yes, and that is how it is looking so far. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, so I'm on the last row, you guys. Can you believe it? The last row. Through the magic of the computer, I am on the last row. So yes, I'm just parting off that, you know, those last 3 pieces of hair. Start attaching. And you start off with a regular normal braid as you would any box braid technique. If you wanted to add the curly hair at this point, you're pretty much did. So sometimes I add the curly hair after braiding only an inch. Sometimes I add it after braiding 2 inches, 3 inches, and it varies. And you know, the Yaki Hollywood hair is one of my favorite braiding hairs. It's super soft. And yes, releasing those final curls, you guys. And now for the challenge. The challenge is to try to hot water the end part of the hair without getting the curly braids in the way, because if the curly braids get immersed in the hot water, it's game over, you guys. It will stretch those curls out and ruin the entire look. So I have to ensure that I, you know, gather as many of the curls as I can and clip them out of the way so that I can, you know, hot water the ends. And it's important to hot water the braiding hair because braiding hair tends to be very stiff if it's not, you know, immersed in the hot water. So I'm trying. You see the huge difference. The hair is now movable, softer, and it gets rid of any frizzes at the end. So yeah, after doing my thing, it's finally done. The ends are, you know, hot watered, and this is the finished look, you guys. And I'm of course adding some mousse because you know you have to try to get those curls activated and to smooth down any flyaways that might be present. So I'm just doing that with the Creme of Nature Argan Oil Mousse. And of course, you know, you cannot neglect your own natural hair. So I'm using the One True Natural Shine of Mine, which is from my own product line. Yes, yes. And I'm just spraying that in her hair, concentrating on the scalp so that I can kind of rub that in. So her hair remains moisturized and nourished throughout the braiding period, the period that she wears her style. And of course, she has to repeat that a couple times a week just to keep the scalp healthy. And yes, it's time for the modeling, you guys. This is the look. Our Goddess Box Braids, otherwise called Boho Box Braids. Yes, yes, yes. Nice. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for sticking and staying. If you have not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. And remember to like, share, tell a friend about natural hair dynamics. And I will talk to you on the next one. Deuces.